In this video lecture, we will discuss about pedogenesis. The word pedo means soil, whereas genesis means formation. So, in this video, we will discuss about how the soil is formed. Whatever the soil that we found into the entire earth, how this soil has been formed, that we will see. First, we will see the introduction part. Soil is a material found on the surface of earth that is composed of organic and inorganic material. There are the organic and inorganic material that are found onto the surface of earth. Soil is also known as the skin of the earth. The soil is also known as the skin of the earth. Soil in natural medium for plant to live, and it is a reservoir for air, water and nutrient which are essential for the plant growth. For the plant growth, soil is the natural mediums that plant take the nutrient from the soil, take the minerals from the soil and then grow. And it is also a reservoir for air, water and nutrient. The portion of earth beneath the soil that is known as bedrock or the parent rock, and it does not contribute directly to the growth of the plant. The bedrock, the hard rocks which are present beneath the surface of the soil, that does not contribute for the plant growth because it is present in the harder form. So for that, there is some process to convert those bedrock into that smaller pieces of rocks that we will see. The word pedogenesis that came from the Greek word. The word pedo or pedon means soil and genesis means origin, synthesis or birth. So in this term, the meaning of pedogenesis is soil formation, soil development and soil evolution. We can use any words. The pedogenesis means soil formation, or we can say soil development, or we can say soil evolution. Study of soil in its natural environment is known as pedology. The study of soil is known as pedology. Other branch of pedology is studied soil morphology and soil characteristic. The other branch of pedology, they study about the soil morphology. Different morphology they study about the soil, and they classify the soil. That we also see how this classification take place of the soil. There are different classification of soil that we will see in the next video. In the another word, pedogenesis is the process by which the soil is created. So here how the soil formation take place, that we will see. Soil formation process. Formation of soil is slow, gradual and continuous process. It is not a fast process. It is a slowly, gradual and continuous process that takes a time. Soil development from the parent material by the various weathering process and climate factors. Weathering and the climates, these are the main factors which are responsible for the soil formations. Weathering and climate are mainly two factors. The two factors which are responsible for the soil formation, that is weathering and climate. These are the mainly two factors which regulate the soil formation. Here the things which we have to remember is that two factors, that is weathering and the climate. Weathering is breakdown of rocks and other minerals. Due to the weathering process, there will be the breakdown of the rocks, the parent rocks which are present beneath the soil surface. Due to the weathering, there will be the breakdown of those rocks. And once there is a breakdown of rocks, that will release the minerals which are present in that rocks. Climate means usual condition of temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, wind and rainfall. This all include into the climatic factors: temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, wind and rainfall. Rocks, that is the parent materials, are exposed to the sun, wind and the rain. That will expose to the sun, wind and the rain. Then there will be the fluctuation in the temperature. There will be the change in the temperature that cause crack on the surface of the rock, that leads to the crack formation onto their rocks. There will be the crack. Suppose this is the harder rock. So there will be the starting the crack formation take place due to the fluctuation in the temperature. By the action of rainwater, minerals are released in the rocks. Once there will be the crack formation, and due to the weathering, due to the rainwater, the minerals which are present in the rocks, that will release from the rocks. Once the minerals are released from the rocks, the wind particle, due to the wind particle of organic matter mixed into the released minerals, the wind particle that will bring the organic matter, due to the wind particle is come in a contact with those minerals which has been released, ultimately leads to the formation of nutrient. That will, now there will be the nutrient formation. Later, once the nutrition formation take place, later establishment of lichens. Lichens are established on the rocks. There will be the establishment of the lichens. Lichens, it is a symbiotic association between the fungi and the algae that will attach onto those rocks. The rock gradually disintegrate, result in finally breakdown into the smaller pieces of rocks. Now once there is establishment of lichens onto the rocks, the lichens will disintegrate, will break down those rocks into the smaller pieces of rocks. How? That we will see. The rocks are converted into the smaller rocks and finally into the smaller particles by weathering process. Okay, the bigger rocks will finally break down into the smaller rocks, and finally that will be the breakdown into the smaller particles. Depending on the nature of the parent materials, process take place in the nature involving hundreds and thousands of the years. Depending upon the nature of the parent's material. What is the nature of the parent's material? That is a rock that take place around hundreds and thousands of years. If it is very fertile, or we can see that if our parent's material is made up of limestone, for that breakdown is a quite fast process. Whereas if it is made from the very hard material, if that chemical composition of those rock is very hard, that ultimately take the longer time for that soil formation. Weathering of rock is a continuous phenomena. That is a continuous phenomena of weathering of rocks, and that will serve to add more and more soil onto the surface of earth. There is always a slow, continuous and gradual process that will serve to add more and more soil onto the surface of earth. There are different types of parent material of rock available for the soil formation. Okay, there are the different types of parent materials. Not all the rocks are made up of the same materials. There are the different types of parent materials that we found. Examples such as granite, that is slow to weathering. For if a parent material is made up of granite, then it takes longer time for the soil formations. If example other, that is limestone and the sandstone, that is fast to weathering. If our parent material or our that rocks, that if it is of limestone or the sandstone, that is fast to weathering. The soil formation from those parent material will be fast. Soil fertility. The soil fertility, we found that either the soil is fertile or the non-fertile. Soil fertility is also based on the nature and the chemical composition of parent material. That is, soil fertility is also based upon the nature and the chemical composition of the parent materials. The parent materials is made up of what kind of chemical compositions are there? in the parent material. That also describes the soil fertility. Examples such as soil derived from the granite and sandstone are not fertile. Whatever the soil formation that take place from the parent material, examples such as granite and the sandstone, which is our non-fertile soil. Whereas when the soil is derived from the limestone are the fertile. This is what all about the pedogenesis. The person who study about the soil, that is known as pedology. Pedogenesis, the word pedo, that means soil, genesis means formation. It is a Greek word. Soil formation is a slow, gradual and continuous process. The factors which are responsible for the soil formation is the mainly two factors, that is weathering and the climate. Due to the weathering, there will be the breakdown of rocks and the minerals are released. Climatic factors, due to the fluctuation in temperature, there will be the crack formation into the soil. Then wind will bring the organic material to that released mineral. Now there will be the establishment of the lichens. Then slowly there will be the degradations of soil from the parent material. There will be degradations from this smaller rock to the smaller particle. This is how the soil formed. And the other things that we remember is about that the parent's material, there are the different types of parent's material that we have seen, and it also depend upon the soil fertility.